I did.
Okay.
All right.
Crazy 48 hours. How does it measure up among other 48-hour windows in UFC history in terms of its sheer volume of zaniness?
No, listen, this sport, every day when I get out of bed, there's something crazy going on. I'm used to it, but overall it was a great event, and we broke the record here, which I love to do, The city of Buffalo was great. We're the highest grossing event ever in this arena's history. So another successful trip to New York.
What did you think of the handling? Obviously, a lot of discussion about the Gegard Mousasi win over Chris Weidman. I mean, what did the commission explain, and what was your understanding of what led to the decision ultimately being a TKO victory for Gegard?
Yeah, obviously, there was a mistake made, and it was the referee who made a mistake. And I think that I was just telling Chris's team, if he would have jumped right back up, I think the fight would have continued. But Chris sat there and. They looked at the tape, which they're not supposed to do. A lot of things happened, but at the end of the day, if you look at the way that fight was going, Mousasi was on his way to win that fight. If the thing doesn't go to the ground, hey, does Chris Weidman fight out of it? Anything is possible, but I obviously hate to see things end this way, but it is what it is.
Gegard's a free agent now. How high of a priority is it to bring him back?
Hey, listen, I'm the one that brought Gegard in. I'm a big Gegard fan. I always have been. And I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Do you see a situation where a rematch, you don't think there's a need for a rematch? You were pretty confident that Gegard was going to win that fight?
Yeah, I don't think we do a rematch of that fight. No.
Chris is
for kicks and knees to a down opponent. I know that's a big headache trying to lobby for something like that, but a situation like this, I mean, it's almost unavoidable with the rule the way it is. Does it almost make you think that it'd be better if we had those?
Yeah, just listen. The sport's still evolving. The commissions are still evolving, as you saw tonight. Eventually, someday.
In terms of middleweight, I spoke to Luke Rockhold earlier, and he thinks there should be an interim middleweight belt because he doesn't feel that Bisping's 2 title fights are with legit top contenders. Would there ever be room for an interim middleweight belt at this juncture?
His 2 title fights aren't legit. He just knocked out Luke Rockhold in the first round.
George and Henderson.
I mean, was that a legit? Listen, he knocked him out in the first round. Luke should really wait for his next shot at something, next fight or something, because that's kind of a ridiculous statement.
For interim title as well. So is that something you just won't consider, given that Bisping is defending the title?
No. Yeah, not only is Bisping, ready and willing to defend the title, he's waiting on GSP right now, and he also said as soon as this GSP fight is over, and if I win the title again, I will defend against Romero immediately. So no.
Do you have any communication after Anthony Johnson's announcement in the ring about his retirement, and did that catch you as off guard as it did many others?
Yeah, I had no idea. He just walked by right here. That's the first time I've seen him since he said that. But I have to agree with Daniel Cormier. I think he's got a lot to offer still. I think it's a little early to retire. But on the flip side, I'm one of those guys that if retirement's even remotely in your mind, you should absolutely do it.
Would you plan on sitting down and talking with him and seeing if this is for sure his final decision?
No, I won't say anything to him except thank you and goodbye, and I'll let him go, go home, spend time with his family, relax, hang around the gym for a while, and see if he gets the itch to come back. I will never, ever, ever in my career, never have and never will, try to push somebody into fighting when they say they want to retire.
He will leave a big fight against John Jones on the table. How big of a hit is it for the UFC if we never see that fight? And B, how much of a surprise would it be to you for someone to walk away from a fight like that?
It's more of a hit to the fans than it is to the UFC. Listen, the UFC, we're going to do what we do. We put on fights, and we look for the up-and-coming talent, the best fighters in the world, and we continue to put on fights. Rumble and Jones not happening is, it sucks for me personally as a fan and for everybody else who's a fan of the sport.
Have you had a chance to sit down with John or any of his team this weekend? Was there any business discussed?
Nope. Haven't talked to Jones since the entire, UFC 200 disaster So.
Did he come here on his own, or was he invited by the UFC?
Invited. He was invited here. He was coming to Buffalo anyway. He had he has something tonight, some after party or something. So we reached out and invited him to come to the fights tonight. Yeah.
Weekend's not over. Do you still plan on speaking with him at some point?
No, I don't think I'm flying back to Las Vegas right now, and getting ready for next weekend. So no, there's nothing to talk about right now. He's still on suspension, so. There's nothing to talk about.
When he comes off suspension, if you could make the match between him and Cormier, would that be your top priority in that division?
Well, obviously when he comes off suspension, what I've been hearing, I haven't talked to him personally, but I've been hearing that John wants to take a tune-up fight. I don't think there's any such thing in the UFC as a tune-up fight. Holly Holm wanted to take a tune-up fight against Miesha Tate before Ronda came back again. And you saw how that worked out. There are no tune-up fights in the UFC. Everybody in this place is tough, nasty, and can win on any given night.
Speaking of Ronda, she just signed up with a strength and conditioning coach who made that public. Have you heard anything from her about a potential comeback?
I have not. Ronda and I talk maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. She has not said anything to me about a comeback, and if I had to guess, I would guess that she will not come back.
And then, are you hoping any statement of New York Athletic Commission after 2 mistakes of them in 38 hours?
Listen, these guys, it's been illegal in New York for a long time. For these guys, this is like 2001 when we bought the company. These guys are, they need to get more experience. They need to have a lot of smaller shows here in New York and get the refs and the judges and the commission to get a little more experience. I don't think that, honestly, anything bad happened here with the commission tonight. I think that the fight was going that way. And realistically, if you look at that, if it was done the right way, the fight would have been stopped anyway, and Weidman would have lost the fight. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, you don't want to talk about Oliveira? The guy looked like an animal tonight, an absolute stud.
Of course, man.
It was incredible to go in there and pull off what he pulled off tonight. He won submission of the night. That kid is so talented. He's hit or miss, but man, when that kid's on, he is unbelievable.
And for you, he keeps in the division of the welter.
I like him. I like him there. He looks good there. He went in against a big power. Did you see the legs on Brooks and the hips on that guy? And Oliveira made it look easy. Guy's so talented, and if he keeps his head straight, man, that guy can really do something.
One more. What did you think of Johnson's game plan? Were you surprised he wrestled as much as he did?
So I'm sitting over there with Jimmy Manuwa, and I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Let me do that again. This is ESPN. Let me redo that for you. I'm sitting there, and I'm watching this fight with Jimmy Manuwa, and I'm like, why is he trying to wrestle Daniel Cormier in the first round? That's the last place he wants to be, is on the inside with Cormier. Should have been on the outside. Listen, I'm no coach, and I'm not acting like I'm a coach and I have, all the answers or game plans or anything like that, but it looked like a real bad game plan to me.
Last one from me. CM Punk, any update? Because we get asked a lot.
No, there's no update on him. I know that he wants to give it a shot again, but we haven't talked about it at all. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.